Good afternoon, my people. What is going on? It is your main man, Charles Tank Harris, the founder and chief visionary officer of the financial literacy platform, Wealth Our Way, where our motto is wealth is not only for the wealthy. I welcome each and every one of you to episode 170, 3 mistakes that could destroy your retirement planning. Before we get into all of that, I got to practice the attitude of gratitude and say thank you to each and every one of you who are here with me as I stream live across the Wealth Our Way Facebook page and the Wealth Our Way Network YouTube page. Please hit YouTube, go on Wealth Our Way Network, and subscribe. We appreciate your continued love and support. I also want to give my salute and shout out to all the members of Wild Nation. Been with me from the start, my A1s from day ones, and everybody who's come along since. Thank you for watching this program, maybe in its pre-recorded state, overnight, over the weekend, wherever you can squeeze 15 minutes of financial literacy in. And then last but not least, a heartfelt how are you to the good folks on the Life 101 platform. They don't get to see my handsome face. They just listen to the audio recording of this very here program. So, Tuesday I was in a lot of pain. I told you guys that. As of today, the pain has come down from like a 7-8 to like a 2-3. I'm feeling much better, continuing to get up and do my morning walk. It's crazy. I went and I gotta start the program off going off track just a little bit. I had my wife order me both a back brace and a waist trainer. And I wrapped both of them Johns around me and went on the walk this morning. Back brace first, then waist trainer over top of it after seeing some young ladies demonstrate how waist trainers work. I got to tell y'all, this is funny to me. So I have no shame, and I needed it. Like I did it. I don't do it for cosmetic reasons like most people do. I did it. I need to hold this belly as tight to my center as possible when I'm exercising, so it's not just pulling on my spine and doing all the madness that it can do. I'm a damn near 500-pound man. I got a different life than most of you cats have. So I tied all that on me. I went for my walk. It was squeezing the very life out of me when I was walking today. It was crazy. And I came in and I apologized to my wife. So fellas who are watching this, pull a lady to the side at some point today, tomorrow, over the weekend, and just tell them you appreciate them. Because if this is what women are going through, to appear a certain way, to please, to whatever, conform to some standard for us or anybody else, when I unwrapped all of that stuff, life and love came back to me. So I'm sitting here saying to myself, who is able to sit across from me at the dinner table on a date, stuffed up into this stuff? They just shaved everything off, painted it back on, waxed it off, washed it, sprayed it, wrapped it. And then that joint don't work out like you. That's why as men, most men, we are quick to say women are crazy. It's a standard line. Women are crazy. And guess what? Women sometimes exude the traits that we identify as crazy. But now I know why. They wrapped up real tight, yo. And the wig is hot. There's a lot going on for the ladies to come out and be what they feel as though men want to see. Thank them for their troubles and their efforts, and let's move on. Because the war between the genders is getting crazy, and we don't need it because we got to respect what they go through just to come out the crib. We, maybe brush our teeth, throw some Mitchum on, and we go on the date. We might get an edge up. They do a lot more. So give the ladies some love. That rap game earlier really opened my eyes to some things, and I want to say thank you to the ladies. Back to retirement. The 3 things that could seriously derail, destroy, mess up, delay your retirement. Here are those 3 things. And I've touched on these things in the past, so some of this is a refresher, but I believe all repetition is good. When you hear things over and over again, it beats it into your consciousness and subconsciousness, and you're able to act on it. The number one thing that a lot of employees, so some of us are entrepreneurs, this may not count for us, that employees do that could destroy the retirement planning is not take full advantage of the employer match. What is the employer match? There are employer-sponsored retirement plans. For most of us, it's a 401k. For some of us, it's a 403b. For others, it's a 457. And the employer may have some component in this plan where they give you money for participating in your plan. It's not always apples to apples for everybody. Some employers match you dollar for dollar, no matter what you contribute. Those are the best jobs to have. When I tell you a little story, when my business was primarily working with professional athletes, the NFLPA, which is the employment, retirement sponsor plan for NFL athletes, they matched 140% of what a player put in. You put $1 in, the NFLPA gave you $1.40. It's remarkable. NBA PA did something similar as well. I can't remember their percentage, but the NFL was 140%. And this was, 15, 20 years ago. Lord knows if they're doing more now. Anyway, your employer can match you $1 for dollar. They could match you in cash. Be careful. This is why it's important to come to sessions like this and find out how to increase your financial literacy, because all matches aren't the same, which is why I'm taking the time out to explain it. They could match you in cash. They could match you in company stock. They could match you in some other form of asset. So I have clients that work for a specific company. I won't put them on blast. They're matched in company stock. And as I'm teaching them their asset allocation, some of them love their company so much that they're also buying company stock. And I have to explain to them, stop buying the company stock. You are matched dollar for dollar up to the max. This company's really a good employer as far as matching is concerned. They're matching you $1 for dollar up to the entire 15% that you can contribute. And then you're going and buying the stock as well. You are over allocated in that particular stock. So don't do it. Deanna asked 140% up to how much? It was up to the max. So most of the NFL athletes, you have that limit of 15% of your income up to whatever the government allowed amount is. I think in this day and age, it's 19.5. I'm old, so this was happening back in 2000, 2001, 2002, where 401k contribution limits were $10,000 or $12,000. So they were getting 140% match up to the entire $12,000 that they could put into their 401k. It's crazy. And once again, employers are still matching. And some of them are matching 100%. Some of them are exceeding. There's no limit by law as to what they can match, as long as they go up to the employee's maximum legal amount. So be careful to examine what you're being matched in. Are you being matched in cash? Are you being matched in some form of investment? The other thing to be careful about is, are you being matched dollar for dollar on the whole contribution or part of it? So some of them get really tricky, and every employer has their reason for why they choose their matching strategy. But some employers match 50 cents on a dollar up to a certain percent. So I just got finished doing a Wild Wealth Jumpstart for a client, doing their retirement plan assessment, and their match was 50 cents on the dollar for the first 8% or something like that. And I've seen 3 of those in the last 4 months. So you just got to examine it. When it comes to financial planning and being financially literate, it's the same thing that I'm always preaching about weight loss. It's simple, but it's not easy. The rules are very simple if you'll read them and take your time to process them. The discipline to see them through is not always easy. But these are questions that you can get answered. If not just by your HR department, you can come on programs like 15 Minutes of Finance. I see friend to the program, Deanna Reeves, is there. She's always hosting programs on her IG. There are, and I tell you guys, the good people to listen to versus the bad people to listen to. So, you can check out Deanna. She's always giving quality investment advice and retirement advice. So that's the match. Please, please, please take full advantage of the match. If your budget does not allow for it, you're saying, Tank, I can't go home with $10 less. You got to fix your life. We have to work on that. Because the whole reason we do retirement planning is to put our money in the stock market or the bond market or the commodity market and get a return every year. I've already told you that the stock market historically returns around 10% a year. It's not even really that high. You got to have a mixture of small cap, mid cap, large cap, a bunch of stuff. If you're getting a match, think about this from a percentage standpoint. If you're getting a match dollar for dollar from your employer, you're getting 100% return. 100% return. You put $5,000 into your 401k, your employer puts $500,000 into your 401k. That is 100% return that is now able to go into the future and be beneficial, have the benefit of compounding and interest over the course of your retirement planning life. So I spent a lot of time talking about number one. So I'm going to breeze through 2 and 3. Number 2, failing to use BUD. You know, BUD is one of the 5 major money moves from my ebook. BUD stands for best use of a dollar. Just as I just told you to make sure you're getting the maximum match from your employer, flip the script and also use BUD. I normally don't see a reason for people who qualify for the Roth IRA to max out their 401k. I see them having a reason to go up to the maximum match. And then I tell them to switch their investments over from their employer-sponsored plan to a no-load Roth IRA on Schwab or Fidelity, because the goal is not what we're putting away. The goal is not how it's growing. The goal is not even the number we end up with when we get to retirement age. I think it is. The goal is what we can take out of that account. And if we have $4 million in a retirement account when we're 70, and we go to take it out and every dollar is taxed at 40 cents on the dollar, your $4 million is only getting 60 cents on the dollar of value. You're going to take out 2.4 million bucks. But if $1 million of that is free of taxation because you put it in a Roth IRA, now you're having 3 million taxed at 40%. That's 1.2. So you have 1.8 there, and then you got $1 million tax free. You got 2.8. So you want to make sure that you have the most money going into your pocket at retirement. So let's look at the last thing. Inside of your, this is a key one. I'm glad I got a few minutes left. Keep your expenses low inside of your retirement options. This is another reason I encourage people to get out of the max out the employer sponsored plan and then jump to a Fidelity or a Schwab. Most retirement plans have built-in expenses, and I'm not an anti-expense guy. People need to get paid for what they do, but sometimes the expenses are unnecessary. When I was a stockbroker, I did 401k plans for small companies. They had to pay the cost of the funds inside the plan and then a fee for me for setting up the plan. Well, if you go to a Schwab or a Fidelity outside of your company-sponsored plan, you can get mutual funds or ETFs, exchange traded funds, that have a lower expense ratio than those you will find in your 401k, and you don't have to pay an advisor to oversee them. That's if you're getting the information somewhere else to know how to govern your investments. And that's a big lift for some people. For some people, it's a better idea to pay a 1% wrap fee to get an advisor's help than it is to do it on your own. A lot of times we have what's called paralysis by analysis. There are a lot of people who get their 401k paperwork every year and select the money market account because everything else is it's crazy to them. They don't get it. They don't understand it. They put their head down and they move on, leaving themselves short at retirement because they weren't taking full advantage of the market. The market responds to that. And what the market's response was to people being confused and saying they didn't know what to do was something called target funds, target date retirement funds, where now you can simply say, based on your age, I'm going to retire in 2042. And they have a mutual fund for that. And those target funds have higher expense ratios than if you were able to understand what funds you need to be in and bought the lower cost funds. Coming to programs like 15 Minutes of Finance or the Financial Power Hour, or just sending DMs and messages to get the advice that will help you navigate your retirement. So those are the 3 mistakes that can seriously destroy and derail your retirement. We'll be back on Tuesday. I got a humdinger for you on Tuesday. Shout out to the finance rebel, my boy Kamari Ellis, who had me on his podcast. He put some stuff on IG today, and I appreciate him for that. But he's been really sounding the trumpet lately about these charlatans and these fakes that we shouldn't listen to on the internet. I'm going to show you a story on Tuesday. I'm going to share a story with you. It may need to be a 2-part story. Tuesday, Thursday, of a young lady who just got arrested for running a sham fraud credit repair company. And not only is she going to jail, she's in jail right now. Not only is she facing several years in prison, all of her clients are now under investigation as a result of using her services. All of the repairs that they paid for, they will not get refunded. The changes that were made on their reports will most likely be reversed. And if they're found to be knowledgeable of the fact that the techniques that she was using were criminal and they knew about it and told her, yeah, go ahead and do that for me, they're going to jail too. So it's very important. I'm getting my clips together. My editor is working on it. Tuesday and Thursday next week will be off the chain. I don't like putting people on blast. Trust me when I say I could come on here every day and tell you stuff that I see on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube, where the people have no idea what they're saying, or they're giving you half the story and they're saying something misleading. I don't do it. I've been working to find a way to educate you guys without damaging other people. I want to find a way to bring value to my audience without, it's not called slander if it's true, but without speaking badly of other people. You know, it is buyer beware. You guys have to know who you're listening to and if they're telling the good stuff or not the good stuff. But I don't have to disparage anybody to help you guys. But this story, when I came across it, Shorty's name and picture is going to be on the situation next week. And it is definitely something that we need to keep our eyes open to, because some of the advice that she's given on Instagram, I've seen other people give the advice telling you blatantly to lie on applications and things like that. You know, as it says in the biblical world, what's done in the dark comes to the light. I got to be careful out here with these folks, man. It's really, really crazy. I saw a man go to jail because he didn't want to pay a certain amount of taxes. So whenever he did his tax returns, he kept his revenue low. But then he went to the bank and told his revenue was higher. Well, the bank and the IRS, they speak to one another, if you guys don't know. And they compared the records and they basically put them in front of them and said, which one of these are true? Didn't matter which one was true because you lied federally to the other person and your man went to jail. So I'm here to clean these streets up financially, and I appreciate you letting me go over today. I want you guys to have an amazing weekend. Know that I am live every morning now on the Wealth Our Way IG page doing my wealth walk. If you want to hear what's the legal term for me? A morbidly obese dude labor with his breathing as he is walking and talking about finances, come on to it's funny. Come on to the Wealth Our Way page in the morning and check me out live. And have a great weekend. And remember, of course, wealth is not only for the wealthy. You guys have a great